The officer's voice cracked like a whip across the quiet suburban street. "Drop it. Now." Rakes clattered to the ground. Her gloved hands froze mid-air, still covered in damp leaves. In front of her, two uniformed officers stood with weapons raised. Behind them, the roar of a black SUV's engine deepened. It stopped just short of her fence, its tinted windows reflecting the midday sun like blank stares. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains. Nobody stepped outside. Nobody asked why. She was just cleaning her backyard. Her name was Clara James. She wasn't dressed for war. She wore an old hoodie, faded jeans, a cap that hid the silver streaks in her hair. A woman in her late 40s, with quiet eyes and heavy shoulders. Just a rake, a bag of yard clippings, and the kind of silence that unnerved even trained men. What they didn't see was the scar that ran along her left shoulder, barely visible beneath the fabric, or the ache in her right knee that flared every time she crouched to pull a weed. They didn't know the scent of burning diesel still made her stomach twist, or that she hadn't celebrated her birthday since 2010. But Clara knew what day it was. She knew exactly what had happened 14 years ago, half a world away, and why she was in her backyard today. Alone. 14 years ago, she had carried a bleeding child through enemy fire in a village whose name she never learned to pronounce. She didn't remember the screams, only the boy's eyes, wide with pain and trust. She lost most of her hearing in one ear that day. And a friend, a sister in arms, Captain Lena Morris. Killed by friendly fire, Clara had survived. Not just the ambush, but the questions that came after. The hearings, the silence, the shame that wrapped itself around her like smoke that never cleared. And so she came home, bought a small house in a quiet neighborhood, tended her garden, answered few questions, but never stopped remembering. Today, she was just cleaning the yard near the old oak tree they planted together. It was Lena's birthday. The police were responding to a suspicious person call. They said she matched the description of a fugitive. But even as they yelled, something about her didn't fit. She didn't run. She didn't argue. She didn't raise her voice. She only stood still, eyes calm, rake at her feet, gloves slightly torn at the knuckle. Behind the SUV, a second vehicle pulled up, unmarked. Government plates. A tall woman stepped out. Dark suit, sun in her eyes. She moved with quiet authority. No badge was shown. No introductions made. She walked straight to Clara, gently nodded to the officers, and said only one thing. "Stand down." The guns lowered, slowly, reluctantly. Tall woman reached into her jacket, pulled out a folded document, and placed it on Clara's patio table. The golden seal shimmered in the sun. It was an official, signed letter, years overdue. A full exoneration, a posthumous honor for Captain Morris, and a final acknowledgement of Clara's actions under fire. But Clara didn't move. Her eyes locked. On the officers, still unsure, still suspicious. That was when the tall woman turned to them and said, "You don't know her, but you should. She saved more lives than any of you ever will." Silence settled like dust. And then, something shifted. One by one, neighbors emerged from their homes. Quiet at first, unsure. Then a boy walked across the street with a single white rose. He handed it to Clara without a word. Another neighbor followed. Then another. Within minutes, her small yard was filled, not with weapons, but with people. Quiet faces. Respectful silence. No applause. No speeches. Just presence. A quiet kind of justice. Some heroes never stop serving, the tall woman whispered, more to herself than anyone else. Even when no one's watching. She never asked for recognition. She never expected a parade. She only wanted the truth to breathe again. For Lena's name to be spoken. For the silence to end, not with noise, but with understanding. Because sometimes, the bravest thing a person can do is keep showing up, even when the world forgets why. If this story moved you, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. Share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more untold stories of real strength, silent sacrifice, and unseen heroes. This is Fiction Dose, where silence speaks louder than words.